What is up, everybody? Today we got Bungie's ex-director Christopher Barrett. He's suing Bungie and Sony after his departure from the company. But if you know anything about Chris Barrett, let me see here. In March, he was laid off. But the reason for why he was laid off was because he decided to message 8 female employees, which Bloomberg has learned. Barrett, former marathon director Chris Barrett, suddenly left the company. Barrett was fired after an HR investigation found that he had behaved inappropriately. And then here's the thing. This guy is out here being like, oh boo-hoo, they owe me money, they owe me money. Brother, you caused yourself this problem. Let's just read this post and then let's go backwards. The past 9 months following my departure from Bungie has been very difficult and painful for me. I've had to endure rampant speculation, unfounded attacks on my reputation, and innuendo about what happened behind the scenes that caused me to be fired after 25 years of loyal service. I want to thank everyone who has been there for me. I eagerly await the opportunity to get the truth out there and tell my side of the story, and now is the time. Today I filed a lawsuit against Sony and Bungie to hold them accountable for their conduct and the damage that has been done to my reputation and my career. I am confident that the facts are on my side and look forward to clearing my name through the legal process, because this is a pending legal matter. There is nothing else I can say about it at this time. But here's the thing, buddy boy, they got your ass. I don't understand this. Back in March, not really in March, but Jason Schreier basically made an article and was like, bro, this dumbass decided to go ahead and message these female employees, and then he goes, "Whoa, I was fired? How?" Like, my G, this isn't the first time you did this shit. We'll come back to that later, but just listen to what his wife says. What the shit is wrong with you? You're not some saint. Nothing. Both of you weren't saints. Even she removed him from his bio, but even she's not a good person. She just casually says how shit she is.
I was still married when Chris and I started dating, fun fact. So was Chris. Chris and I were both married when we started dating. Like, if you've ever thought that Chris and I were fucking squeaky clean people, I'm really sorry, because we have never been squeaky clean people. I think that's been very fucking obvious, but it really was Scrabble.
Minor mistake on my part. I realized I was recording without my voice, so we'll just go over. Okay, essentially going over what she said. She's a shitty person and he's a shitty person. They both ruined two other people's lives, right? Their marriage. They ruined their marriages. Sure, and she's worse for that because almost worse because she just casually says, "Yeah, he was bad, but who cares? Moving on, bro. Don't excuse his bullshit." Anyway, I don't really remember where I was, but we'll just try to remember. But yeah, I don't know what Buddy Boy is saying. He's going, "How dare you fire me?" Like, when we have the receipts. Jason Schreier made them. He decided to go, and as a real reporter went and decided to go, "Yo, woman, did he message you? How did he message you? What did he do?" And then they were like, "Bro, he was trying to get into my pants. He was saying, I'm a top level executive. I can do this and that." Brother, you only make people uncomfortable around you. And he goes, and just let's just, during some, right, his ex-wife removed him from her bio, but oh well. Let's just go over this article, the Gainsby article, the one which is going over this article about this tweet. Chris Barrett was one of the most prominent developers who was fired years ago during the Me Too scandals that hit the game industry. But Barrett, a game artist, filed a lawsuit today against his former employees, Sony Interactive Entertainment and Bungie, alleging that they fired him to avoid giving him a $45 million payment he was entitled to. We have asked Sony/Bungie for comment. Barrett's lawyers and said the defendants deliberately destroyed Barrett's reputation by falsely and publicly insinuating that they had investigated Barrett and found he had engaged in sexual misconduct. Defendants did not care that none of it was true. They have blatant motivations for the bizarre, brazen scheme, and that was the payout he said he was entitled to under his employment agreement. The lawsuit went on to say the companies were motivated by a need to shift blame for and deflect attention away from the masses' business failures, and to achieve those corporate objectives, they were willing to sacrifice Barrett. While that sounds despicable, Despicable, Barrett was accused of crossing the line between professional and personal behavior. In the course of its journalistic investigation of the Me Too scandal, Bloomberg interviewed a woman in gaming who accused Barrett of sending inappropriate text messages. My brother in Christ. My brother in Christ. They have the, evidence. What more are you going to argue for? I don't get this bullshit. Oh man, I'm totally innocent. You disappeared 4 months ago. No one cared about you. No one wanted to do anything with you. You just went. What makes you entitled to anything? What are you gonna do? Go, nah, 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 nah. The female employees that work there, nah, it's kind of bullshit. You don't need to worry about, brother. They work there just as you did. You go, and such an idiot. This is just going over what he did. The suit said Barrett drove the artistic development of some of the world's most legendary video game franchises, including Halo and Destiny. Yeah, blah blah blah. Marathon. The title that right probably ended in 2024 when Sony, which had acquired Bungie for 3.6 billion in 2022, still too much money, and Sony's hurting from it because they have not done anything. They have not gained anything. Barrett was never asked whether he had. Oh, here we go. Barrett allegedly was told about an investigation into his behavior when he was on mental health leave. He allegedly attended the interview meeting with Sony's legal department, was not advised to bring legal cons, and he said he was never shown any of the text messages. Barrett was never asked whether he had ever engaged in inappropriate sexual conduct, whether he had ever sent inappropriate sexual or pornographic materials to a coworker, whether he had retaliated against a coworker for rebuffing his advances or discriminated against a female colleague on his basis of her sex. Barrett was not asked those questions because Barrett did not engage in and has not been accused of and as such conduct the lawsuit alleged. Less than 3 weeks after his interview, Barrett was notified via Microsoft Teams that he had engaged in unspecified gross misconduct and would be terminated for cause. Defendants refused to explain further and told him nothing he could say would make a difference, despite never giving him a chance to engage with the allegations in the first place, the lawsuit said. The cause was a vague violation of Bungie's harassment policy, the lawsuit said. They then completed the Machiavellian traphesia by providing widely misleading statements to Bloomberg designed to deflect blame for Sony's poorly performing 3.6 billion acquisition of Bungie and delays in the video game production by causing shades on Barrett for his role on Marathon, and 2. Shift blame for their own public Me Too problems by falsely insinuating that he had accused of several misconduct had not been directed at Barrett, which when they had not, the lawsuit said. The lawsuit also has said Sony's 3.6 billion acquisitions of Bungie have been a disaster. It said Bungie has struggled to meet financial targets, had fallen behind on deadlines and Marathon, blah 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 blah. Yeah, they wanted to save money for 45 billion. The Bungie struggles should not be surprised. The lawsuit continued before blah 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 blah. And lawsuit said prior to Barrett's termination, Bungie faced considerable public accusation misconduct towards women. Firing Barrett allowed defendants to falsely pin those issues on Barrett and create a narrative that they were talking harassment issues. Seriously, after all, if they were to fire creator of the two main franchises, they could fire anyone. Never mind that Barrett had not engaged or been accused of misconduct at issue, much less any conduct, the lawsuit said. The lawsuit claimed that Barrett has been harmed financially, physically, and emotionally. He has been the subject of harassment and public ridicule, has lost friends and professional opportunities, and has seen relationships with families strained. His lifelong dream of launching his own video game company once within reach of a respected designer of multiple legendary games have been crushed, the lawsuit said. His wife also just announced that he's also a shithead. So, I don't know, guys. I mean, if it was just me, he was dating someone while he was married. I don't know, maybe not the nicest guy, maybe, I don't know, his ex-wife and him deserve each other, but that's just me, yeah, I'm just saying, you can be, amazing guy, just amazing, truly amazing. I have nothing but positive things to say about this guy. Who the shit does he think he is? They have the receipts, my guy. What are you going to do? So stupid. And this is the problem with video game people, right? Video game developers. They all seem to have this development issue of like just talking to people, like interacting. It's really weird how a lot of Western game developers are like, they just don't, they were the weird kid, and they I feel like they were bullied a lot, which they now have gained into the development role. But then now they're in the development role to tell a lot of people what they can and cannot do, which essentially was this guy. He think he had a power. He then tried to use that power, and when before he joined, let's just look at the article anyway. Barrett joined Bungie in 1999 after drawing attention as Myth's modder. He was credited for work on Myth 2. In those early days, Barrett noted, though through the lawsuit, colorful language and off-color jokes were common. Employees frequently openly referred to things as gay, sexual jokes, moms, jokes, and racist jokes were commonplace. Nudity was not prohibited. Bungie's personnel engaged in moonings in the office where employees would pull their pants down and play the buttocks, a practice that continued to some degree over the years. Barrett went on to work on Halo. He did really well. He helped out a lot in that deal. Barrett received starting on October 1st at server. Yeah, he gained a lot of money for a long time. Bungie made Barrett responsibility for the creative and art design for Bungie's next franchise, named Destiny. He did amazing on that and was like, wow, we made so much money. In December 21, IGN dropped a bombshell article about Me Too problems about sexual harassment at Bungie without referring to senior managers by name. The story described a range of bad behavior as well as poor work conditions, such as unpaid crunch time and Bungie leadership protecting these managers. Bungie CEO Pete Parsons responded to the legend allegations, saying the company had taken various incentives to improve behavior and working conditions while denying any role in such behavior. Barrett alleged in the lawsuit that he witnessed a very senior Bungie executive texting him and others sexually suggestive material, including lewd photographs, text by sex life, including graphic descriptions of particular sex acts, and text concerning the appearance of women working for Bungie. The lawsuit alleged the same senior Bungie executive frequently showed up for work drunk, attending group meetings while intoxicated and engaged in sexual conduct in Bungie-sponsored events. And it said one of Bungie's founding members made frequent sexist and racist comments in group settings. For example, in leadership meeting, he joked about a woman's place in barefoot and pregnant, on words to that effect. Barrett reprimanded him over email, but he faced no consequences, the lawsuit alleged. During an interview, a potential hire told Barrett that Bungie should name a Destiny faction the Roman cunt. Barrett reportedly the comment to the group evaluating the candidate and insisting that Bungie should not hire him. Leadership still hired the candidate. The lawsuit said a female officer and administrator shared explicit stories about her sexual exploits, and at least one Bungie employee frequently exposed himself in the office, including by pulling down his pants in the middle of the office and pressing his exposed buttocks against glass, overlooking the entire studio. Despite the Me Too problem, Sony chose to go ahead with the accusation of Bungie, the lawsuit alleged. I mean, Sony just wanted them because they just needed someone in that reason. They didn't really care about what was going on in the company. Sony thought, yo, Bungie's been dealing with themselves. Let's just let them be, let them see how they are. And that was it. Sony didn't realize how much shit Bungie was in and how shitty they are as an actual developer. But if Sony decided to look at Bungie just as a company over the years, they would have noticed that Bungie is probably a company that is self-loathing. First they were with Activision, and then they were like, oh, Activision. No, first they were with Microsoft, and they were like, oh, Microsoft makes us do home Halo and only Halo. We want to make a new game. So Microsoft like, bro, just make us 2 last Halo games, then get out. They did that. They went on to make Destiny. Destiny then does a huge success. Destiny 2, even big success. But then they're like, oh, Activision, they're making us do this. They're making us do that. Sorry, players, they're making us do this. Then Activision's like, all right, get out of here. You're independent. And then when they were independent, they were like, well, we're independent. Let's just continue our shitty practices and never change. And then they were like, and then everyone's like, bro, are you... So clearly Activision was a problem, but you are also the problem. You guys haven't fixed yourselves. You haven't fixed up. Anyway, and then now they're suffering, and they're being bought out by Sony. I do agree that Pete Hines needs to be fired and needs to be let go and just gone somewhere else, because he's clearly terrible for the company and he hasn't done anything much for it, if I'm being honest. But anyway, back to this. Barrett moved to Florida, and while there, he was replaced by Joe Zingler as the game's director. Marathon was blamed for Marathon's delays. The lawsuit alleged Barrett was renamed franchise game director. In effect, he was moved upstairs with nothing to manage, while Barrett's manager allegedly belittled him publicly. Barrett then filed for mental health leave. Then the investigation began. Weeks later, Barrett was fired. After his termination in July 2024, 155 more people at Bungie were absorbed into Sony, and 220 more Bungie jobs were eliminated. Okay, this video is going on for a bit longer than I expected, but I just don't know what he was going to do. I just don't know what the hell he wants. Brother, they have the text, they have the reports, they have everything to get your ass. And you're like, nah, I want my 45 million. I want something. They're probably going to settle something out of court, like maybe give him like $1 million and be like, all right, just shut up and go away. No one wants to talk. No one even wants to hear from you. But I can also see just Sony being like, all right, let's just go to court then. We have your ass some plus. Like, what are you going to do? Like, I don't know what he wants. But here's the crazy thing. Reading this, they knew about his shitty behavior. They knew about what he was doing ahead of time. He was clearly like a really bad person to work with. And until the Me Too movement, until Sony bought him out, until all these things, Sony then was like, all right, let's get rid of him. He might have a case with the 45 million. He might have a slight case, because why didn't Sony fire him? Why didn't Bungie fire him ahead of time instead of waiting till the 45 million payout? Before like any of that stuff happened, why did they wait? In that case, I think he might win, because Bungie will need to be taken down a notch, and Sony will be like, bro, Bungie, we're now in control of you, but behind you're gonna be seriously reprimanded now. Like, what the shit are you doing? What did you do before we bought you out? This is the only thing I can think they can get away with. The only thing. But besides that, that's where I'm going to leave it. I don't think he's going to win. If he's going to win, it's going to be outside the courts. He's going to get maybe $1 million, maybe $2 million. And then he probably will never have to work a day in his life. Maybe. But at the same time, I'm not... I mean, I don't know. He's a shitty guy altogether. Like, the marrying thing really ticks me off. I mean, but his wife was also shitty, so I don't know. But otherwise, he done great for the video game industry. So he deserves his success. But, I mean, at the same time, you were in power and you were a creep. Can you just not do that? Is that impossible? I don't understand why that is. Anyway, that's it for me. Take care and see ya.